into the Big 12, where right now we have Kansas, Baylor, and Texas Tech. It looks like they're probably the three best teams in that conference. The way the standings shake out, Kansas is currently sitting at 6-1 in first place in the league. Baylor is sitting at 6-2, a half game behind them. And then you have Texas Tech and Texas both at 5-3, and TCU sitting in there 3-3, fifth place in the conference. I don't think anybody saw that one coming from the Horned Frog. So, Fanta, I'm going to you first on this one. Kansas plus 125 to win the Big 12 regular season title. Baylor is plus 175. Texas Tech plus 500. Hot take, they might be the best team in the Big 12. Talk to me about this conference.
Well, man, Texas Tech, I don't think they're the best team in the Big 12 because I still don't trust them offensively enough on a consistent basis. But then again, I could say the same thing about Baylor and Kansas just look damn flat. I have a gut feeling that Baylor's going to end up winning the league. I think that they are going to remind us here down the stretch of just how good that they can be and that they are. And I trust Scott Drew and what he's done on the good days for Baylor. And I think you just got to have James Akinjo, Adam Flagler, LJ Cryer in a rhythm, and back into a rhythm. I think Baylor's level of physicality
and healthy. That's the big thing. They got to be healthy too.
And healthy, and they haven't been healthy. Like we know right now, or maybe we don't know, but I know this, that if Baylor's 100% healthy and in rhythm offensively, they're the best team in the conference. They might be the best team in the country still. Like they're in that argument. They're still in that conversation. I'm not taking them out of that. I think Kansas, I don't see Kansas winning the league because I don't like Kansas's supporting cast. I don't think that they're doing enough to support Ochai Agbaji. I don't think that Bill Self is even comfortable with his supporting cast. I think he's trying to figure out what he has, but at the end of the day, David McCormick hasn't been anywhere close to what he was last year. Kansas's point guard play is a mystery. It's a complete mystery. That is a huge problem. Like, if you want to win your league, you have to know what you have at point guard, right, guys? If you had no other position figured out, you better have your position at the one figured out. You know, like that could cover up so many deficiencies. Instead, it revealed them. Kentucky's guards flourished against Kansas. Kentucky's guards got wherever they wanted to go. I don't trust Kansas to win this league. I like Baylor to end up winning the conference. I think that they end up doing so. And I'm not buying into Texas Tech as the Big 12 champion. I'm not doing that. Give me Baylor to win the Big 12.
I'm with that. Baylor to win the Big 12 for all the reasons he said. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the rest of their schedule. Saturday, they have one tonight, West Virginia at home, kind of a rebound game. West Virginia hasn't been as good as what people thought they were going to be. They can get back on the right track there. And then they've got a whole week, probably a day off Tuesday. Then they got a few days to get ready for Kansas at Kansas. That game right there is going to tell you a lot, because James Akinjo is going to have to be really good. They match up well with them from an athleticism standpoint. I'm excited to see what they do at Fog Allen. They win that game, you can go ahead and take Baylor really seriously for the rest of the year. I love Texas Tech. I love that team. I'm interested to see how it goes tonight. Or tomorrow. I'm so mad that I'm not going to be able to go down there because there's no good way to get down to Lubbock. I was started looking at planes to get there. I had to make like 4 connections, like in towns that I've never even heard of, to get to Lubbock. So I'm not going to be able to get there.
Like where? Were you connecting?
No, I don't know. But you get what I'm saying. Like they just
wait. You're telling me there aren't direct flights from Clemson, South Carolina to Lubbock, Texas? It feels like
there's like 2 and 3 connections and $1,000 because I might have been the only person on the plane. Maybe not this week, but you get what I'm saying. Like there's no good way to get to Lubbock. I'm just not going to be able to do it because I have to call the game on Wednesday. I didn't think I'd be able to get back.
What? T.O., you need to start a country band, right? And your first song needs to be "There's No Good Way to Get to Lubbock."
There's no good way. There's no good way to Lubbock.
There's no good way to get to Lubbock. Oh man, it sounds like
by the way, how is
Brian should be singing.
How the Texas game? I just looked. I couldn't believe that was on ESPN2. That might be the highest rated college hoops game on the Deuce of the season. You know, like I know we're talking conference champions, but like Rob, covering this sport for the time you have, where does Texas rank on Tuesday night in terms of intensity and all that stuff?
In terms of how insane the environment's going to end up being, like, it's way up there. And that's simply because, one, the good folks of Lubbock, Texas, and the students at Texas Tech University are absolutely insane. They are out of their minds. I think that entire city has completely lost it. Two, they do not like Chris Beard at all. They do not like him at all.
I don't understand that.
Now, why?
Because it's because he when he got the job, he said it was his dream job. He's a guy from West Texas. Like, that's kind of, he was built for that program. And then he ditches them for big brother up the road in Austin, right? Like, there's a little bit of I think there's a little bit of I don't know if like inferiority complex is the right way to phrase it, but like Texas Tech, they don't like Texas because they look at them as like, that's the big prestigious university, the flagship of the state, where all the smart people go that think that they're too good for whatever it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I'm kind of saying that. So I think that they look at that school like, fuck those guys.
But I think
and then the guy that built their program gets up and leaves for the same amount of money. And so I think that there's a little bit of they feel betrayed, is probably the best way to phrase it. And I love that Texas Tech gave the job to Mark Adams, that he's going to come in and have a chance to go in and win this thing. Because look, I do think that they're built for making a run in March. When Baylor's healthy, I think that they're probably the best team in the conference. I would bet on them to win the league at plus 175. I said it before in the preseason. I would bet on them. It was plus 750 for Baylor to win the Big 12. I told you to make that bet. Hopefully you listen to me.
Wow.
I think that they're suited for beating Kansas. I think they match up perfectly against the Jayhawks. And as long as they don't have to play 8-on-5 in Fall Allen Fieldhouse, I think they're going to get that win on Saturday. But Texas Tech, to me, is just the way that they can switch everything and create matchup problems, and they don't let you run their offense, and that no middle defense that they play. It's very difficult to prep for that if you're not expecting it and you haven't seen it before. So I think that they have a very good chance to make a run in March. They're plus 500 to win the Big 12. I wouldn't make that bet, but they're plus 3,000 to win the national title. Now, I don't think they're going to win it, but that's another perfect example of one where there's value on the value on that line, and you could bet it, wait until they make a run and end up cashing out your bet and profiting. So Texas Tech is who
I agree. I agree 100% with that. I feel like Texas Tech could be an Elite Eight team because they're going to be able to match up with anybody, even these mid-majors that can shoot it. Like, they're so switchable, so big. That defense is hard to change. The ball's hard to change sides of the floor. Like, they're going to make it really hard on some of these Cinderellas because of their way they play. And a lot of these Cinderellas rely on the long ball, undersized three-point shooters. They have the ability to guard all those guys and be so switchable and make it really tough on you.
Hey, you know what if we all lived on the same street, T.O., which would be dangerous.
That would be dangerous.
Rob just did the comparison of like you and me out front of our houses mowing the lawn, like, putting the work in. And he brought up the Baylor future, the plus 750. I'm just imagining, I don't know, he threw $1,000 on it or whatever. He just did the comparison of like driving by in a brand new Hummer limo right down our street and looking out the window and going, "Hey guys, what's going on?"
That's right.
Drink some. Tell you. That was a terrific victory lap. Look, you called that. And by the way, the fact that I just heard plus 750 for the reigning national champions, I don't care who you got. Like that was a great value. Very, very well done there on that take. And I think it also reflects, like, we've talked about Big East now, Big 12, Southeastern Conference. What does it say that we're coming up with different answers? It says that college basketball is really healthy. That if the sport went into a physical with a doctor right now, the doctor would look at it and say, "You're healthy as an ox."
Yep.
Hey, the disbursement of talent with the extra year. The disbursement of talent with the extra year is huge.
Yeah. And